Welcome to Dynamics Corner. This is Kris.
And this is Brad. This episode was recorded on October 31st, 2022. Kris. Here we are again with an extra special, even though every episode's special, Halloween edition of In the Dynamics Corner chair.
Good Halloween. And there's going to be an extra Kris. You're Kris. There's going to be an extra Kris.
That's right. We have Kris 1 and Kris 2, or Big Kris and Little Kris. I don't even know how to classify the two. But with us today, we have the opportunity to speak with none other than Kris the Visser of Continia Software.
Hey, Kris. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. It's glad you're here with us though, chatting away in this podcast of ours.
No, you guys made this difficult for me because now when I say Kris, I have to say Kris 1 or Kris 2, but then who's Kris 1 or Kris 2?
No, you got to call Kris though as the number one.
Okay, so
call me Dutch Kris or.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Okay, I'll go Kris D. How's that?
Yeah.
Or I'll just say Kris, and then hopefully we can figure out what the context. No, but thank you for taking the time to speak with us today. I'm interested in speaking with you, learning a little bit about yourself, learning a little bit about the product offering that you have. I've worked with the products over the past several years. So I'm happy to have the time to speak with you and learn a little bit more about you, your product offering, and the community involvement as well.
Cool.
So if you would, I know Continia goes way back, probably, back to like 1992. So it's a little bit other Kris. They still don't have me beat, but that's okay. Actually, they may have me beat. You do have me beat. You guys are older than I am with this space, but if you would, could you just give us a little background, a little history about Continia and some of the offerings that you have for the Business Central community?
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, pleasure to be here. Yeah, Continia has been around since 1992, probably before many people in this space knew even how to spell NAV. We've been active in that. Initially, our payment management product that we're still a market leader with in Europe in our space. But over the years, we've added more products to the portfolio. In North America, we're mostly active with our document capture, expense management, and document output product. So they serve different purposes, but they have one common theme in common, and that's where we want to accelerate finance process. So they focus on finance teams that use Business Central or NAV or any version of it. I mean, we go back to the 3.7 still in actively supported versions.
Oh, wow.
And for all our products, we have recent releases of our products for those ERP versions. And document capture is around AP automation, but it does more than that. The keyword is often OCR. So we take an AP invoice and digitally create that, and then run that through a workflow process, or we match it to a purchase order or purchase receipt for a three-way match. So we really digitize that part of the process. Expense management, it's picking up fast, I have to say, mostly because of our corporate credit card reconciliation. So we take a corporate credit card, we import all the transactions in BC as the cards are being used, being swiped, and then we chase the people who the card is assigned to for receipts, any other information you may need, job, any dimensions you want to capture. And really the finance team, all they have to do is just check it if they even want to, and post it, and it reconciles automatically using the BC reconciliation modules. And then document output is kind of a hidden gem. It sends out emails using data points and triggers happening in BC. So it can generate attachments on the fly. It will attach it to the email. We'll take data from BC, put it in the body of the email. I've been now with Continia for 3.5 years here in North America, specifically. Before that, I was at a Dutch e-commerce provider in the space, on e-commerce, probably a lot of people are familiar with. I am originally Dutch, and I moved for Sana at the time to the US. So I'm based in New York. I've been here now for, in 2 weeks exactly, 9 years.
Wow, that's how I met you, Kris.
Exactly.
When you were at that e-commerce company.
Yeah,
It's a long time ago.
Yeah, it's. I would like to say I had more hair at the time, but I didn't.
It happens to all of us. Don't worry, it happens to all of us.
No, so yeah, and before that, I already worked in the North American community space out of the Netherlands. So I've been active in this space since 2010, 2011. I think it was the Partner Conference Directions in 2011. That was my first conference that I visited, and I haven't missed one since. So
oh wow,
yeah,
got a track record.
It's a good track record. No, the Directions conferences are great. No, it sounds like there's a great offering with the document capture, the expense management. Geez, it's one of those days I'm tongue-tied. I'm
Monday
sorry.
morning, Monday afternoon.
Yes. It's the document capture, expense management, document output, payment management, collection management, and the OP Plus.
Yeah,
I'll throw that in there too. See, I know you had talked about for the finance group, but I just want to make sure we kind of can cover all of them. I work them, and you stated that you support versions of Business Central. I'm assuming SaaS and on-prem, since you also go back all the way to 3.7. Was that when it was still Business Solutions? Was it 3.6 when it was Microsoft Business Solutions, or was that Attain? I forget. See, this is what
to be honest, I don't even know. I think 3.7 was when it was still a Danish company. It might predate Microsoft, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I have to. I think I have to make a timeline and just like tape it to the desk, because this comes up, quite often in my day, and it's just like, well, what was that version? I just call it Nav Business Central. It's just one word to me.
You almost need one of those matrix Excel or something like that, just to see what they were called at that time and what year.
A nice pivot table. Or Power BI dashboard, we should say nowadays, of course.
Yes. There you go. A Power BI dashboard.
Practice what you preach.
Yeah, absolutely. So that must be some sort of effort to be able to support the product all the way back to, an older version of the application, as well as keep up with, the latest technology. Because now, even with being, in SaaS, to have a product that can support, SaaS as well as on-prem for Business Central, but also, some of the older architecture must be a little challenging for you.
It is, and in all honesty, we more or less, once Business Central was really picking up, we decided, like, new versions of our Continia products, we're going to only release for the Business Central versions, both on-premise and cloud. If you are still on Nav or an older version of Business Central on-premise, older than 14, you're more or less stuck with version 8 of our product. We just released version 10, but
yes, you're doing that modern cycle.
We spend so much time on making things backward compatible, testing each and every scenario, and we have thousands of clients, right? So in order to say that it works can be challenging, because there's always somebody on like this odd version that you may or may not have fully tested, right? So we had to make a cut, because it was coming at the cost of new features and further improving our products for people that are staying up to date. And to your point with cloud, it's just going crazy. We're seeing hundreds of ads each month in people starting, organizations using one of our solutions or more. So cloud is clearly the future, and we certainly don't want to forget about our legacy customers, but at the same time, we got to move on. That's where the world is going.
Those customers are in a challenging spot themselves. It's great that you offer some sort of maintenance and support to keep with them and moving forward, but they're also, well beyond the end of life for the Microsoft product as well too. So, I think, offering the support for them is great, so that they can have some assistance. But if they want the newer version or the newer features, then it is time to probably come a little more recent of a version than back in.
And we come with hot fixes and security patches. Like a recent example was Microsoft stopping with basic authentication. We had with some old legacy customers, we had some issues there. But if they upgrade to the latest patch of the version that they're on, we can work and use EWS for some of that stuff. So we'll try to find a solution. And to your point, there's a lot of people that are more or less stuck there because they have customized it so much and really build a custom version of it.
Because that's what you could do back then, and that's what people did. You didn't have to learn the app. You didn't have to learn the application. You just modified it.
Yeah. Well, now's the time to just start with an empty piece of paper and just redraw the whole thing, right?
No, I think that's important too. So you have the document capture, and you said the document capture and the expense management are the more popular of the products that you have noticed with the use.
Yeah. Well, so in North America, we at the moment we don't even offer the payment management and OP Plus and those kind of things. They're very European focused because of the banking system. Unfortunately, the American banking system is not as standardized as the European one. We would like to, and we've been toying with the idea, but we're also somewhat perfectionists, and procrastinators and perfectionists are often very close to each other in personality, right? Like you want to do it perfect, and otherwise you don't do it. We want to do it fully automated. Like an export and an import to the bank is not cutting it for us. We want to go better than that. The document capture, expense management, they technically share a bunch of code even between each other. And document output are like the three products that we sell in North America, and in that order of magnitude also, more or less.
Okay. And then the other three products, the payment management, collection management, and OP Plus, are offered in Europe, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they could offer. You're also offering the document capture, expense management, and document output there as well.
Correct.
So North America has a limitation for market due to the banking standardizations, but anybody outside of North America can utilize any one of the products. Which type of customer do you see in North America? I'll target this towards North America for some of these questions, just because of there's a different market for the different products.
Yeah.
And that's probably why I wasn't too familiar with the other three. I knew they existed, but I haven't come across them. I have worked with all three of the other products over the course of my career. But which types of customers do you find would benefit the most from the document capture, expense management, and document output?
Yeah, so we're like one of the more typical horizontal ISVs, I would say. So anybody with like finance processes could more or less benefit from it. Naturally, because of the nature of our channel, we'll see a lot of distributors, manufacturers, wholesalers, right? I mean, that's where the original NAV kind of focused on. But you see all types of companies from fish farms to liquor distributors to complex manufacturers. And the interesting thing is our document capture product. Yes, the majority of our clients uses it for AP automation, but we have more and more customers using it to automate the sales order process. So they have their customers sending in a PO, and we read the PO, find customer name, item number, quantity, and we create a sales order in BC. It's the same technology. It works out of the box, and it's obviously more interesting to sell for our partners because it's on the revenue side, right? It's not like a finance side that you're trying to patch a hole. You're actually processing incoming orders quicker, which is typically the more sexier side.
So what is that? Everybody's worried about shipping and selling versus
Well, I mean, it's like it's nicer to receive an order than to pay an invoice, of course, as an organization. So I rather generate revenue than that I automate and accelerate how often I pay my vendors.
No, that's it is a good twist. So you can facilitate the three-way match for payment processing with the OCR reading of the invoices and creating, or matching up to the purchase invoices. And then also, like you said, with the expense management as well, with the downloading of the credit card statements to matching up to the transactions. But now, and you can also create sales orders from purchase orders from a customer.
And with expense management, we're not even waiting for the statement, right? It's as soon as the bank posts the transaction, it pops up in BC. So you don't have to wait till month end to start reconciling your transactions. You just do it as they come in.
As they come in. Wow.
Yeah. And
so you can download the transactions.
It's a push
from the bank.
It's a push. Yeah.
A push down from the bank.
Yeah. And that's the thing, what sets all of our products apart and us as an organization a little bit. We're fully built inside of BC and NAV, right? So we don't have our own database or anything like that. We put it straight into BC tables. All our code, all our setups, everything runs in the ERP. So if people have customized things in the past, we can hook into that. If people have other add-ons like a mem, from Binary Stream, for example, we can hook into that right away. And for more generic API automation tools, that's painful. It's a custom integration they need to build. For us, it's just like pointing to the right table and it's done. And a non-developer can do that kind of stuff. So it limits us because we don't support any other ERP, right? We don't do F&O, we don't do NetSuite, we don't do Acumatica, but it also makes us laser focused on the PC and NAV channel. I mean, that's where our business always was, and that's where our future is. And we know the space very well.
No, it's good to have that vision. Yeah. And, I do talk about that often with many individuals, partners, customers, ISVs. It's do what you know and do it well, right? If you have 10 balls, you throw them in the air, chances are you'll catch one or two. But if you have one ball or two balls, you throw them in the air, you'll catch both of them, and you can do it really well. That way, you can offer the service and support that somebody needs. I mean, anybody can do anything realistically. Hey, ask me, can you do this? Yeah, sure, I can figure it out. But to be able to be focused on a product's offering and suite, and understand the product does offer you or give you the opportunity to offer a better solution. And you understand the product and you understand the needs of the users as well.
And it allows our partners to implement it, right? Ideally, our partners that know our customers well, that know the custom installs well, they can implement this. It's not rocket science. Once you've seen it a couple of times, you know how to do it. So we really want to empower the the partners to deliver value with add-ons as well. We're not one of those ISVs that takes up a ton of budget to implement something. It's our partners to.
That's the key, is you need to be easy to work with. There's one thing I will say is, and we didn't have a chance to speak about this, but one thing that I went through the whole process of working with the application several years ago. And what I was fascinated with was the portal that you have. I was able to log in, spin up a version of the application in my own remote desktop and be able to work with it and do what I needed to be able to work with a customer. Right. It was just that easy that I could just log in, say I need to spin up a version of, document capture or expense management. And I had a full-blown recent install that I was able to use from the partner point of view to work with, to be able to test the customization. And my point was I was working with some modifications, and I thought that was so easy to use. And this was before Microsoft had like the Docker containers where you could spin up the Business Central or the Nav containers, but it just made it so much easier to not have to, download and install and set everything up. So even that little thing right there makes it so much easier for a partner to implement. Do you guys still do that portal process, or do you have any container Docker containers as well too? Or?
Yeah, so we also now have like the most recent cloud versions of BC available in demo environments. And I've heard of partners using our demo environments to demo BC, just because it was so easy to spin up and they didn't have to wait for their internal pre-sales guys to load one up for them. We still do that, and we keep expanding the partner portal. We've added what we call Learn. So that was initially partner focused only as well, but we've opened it up to customers because
that's cool.
Customers can get certified now in how to use Continia, how to that's the company has always been designed for scale. We've been global from very early on. When I was talking with the team to join Continia, it was one of the things that actually convinced me for a big portion as well. Like, all the tools were there to make it a success in North America. They just didn't have a local team. So that was for me the opportunity to provide my background and my experience with working with European ISVs to bring that together. And we've been tremendously successful. We have an amazing team here in North America. I couldn't do it without the team. But it's been little things like that. To your point, Brad, where like it's just a demo environment. There's other partners that have demo environments, right? But the way it's thought through, and our team again being so dedicated to the Microsoft channel, they come up with the best solutions for some of that stuff. It's great, and the feedback we get is awesome, of course.
So now you have the North American team. You guys moved over here, I think, 2019. You've been there for 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So you were here originally when were you part of the original movement to North America?
Yeah, so I was the first person on the ground, really on payroll. We've had some constructions with distributors and things like that before, which worked fine. And you always kind of need to validate the business case. Like, is the market interested in us, right? But having previously been the first person on the ground for Sana, and knowing the Continia team a little bit, they were like, okay, this guy's done it before. Let's see if he can do it again.
So you have that badge now. You're like that. You want to branch over. You want to branch over into the U.S. Kris.
Yeah, I'm that guy that gets his hands dirty with like 5 demos a day in the first year, just to get the message across. And then as we progress, I'm thankful for more and more team members that help me with that stuff.
Well, no, I think you guys, Continia definitely needs it over here, because I've been seeing an uptick in, the popularity of the product, just, in conversation and from what I've seen as well. So, it's good, and you're doing a great job with it.
Thanks.
I apologize again for my tongue-tied day, and I get hung up on it sometimes.
No, it's a lot of fun, actually. I work with the partners that I've worked with for over a decade now, and I have new solutions, and then the fact that they embrace it and are successful with it, and that like word of mouth. I mean, everybody talks to everybody in our space, right? So even the fiercest,
everybody knows everybody.
Even the fiercest competitors are like, "Oh, I spoke to these guys. It's a neat solution." And then before you know it, you get an email like, "Hey, can we talk?" Right? It's good and bad, I guess.
No, it's a very small community. I think if somebody doesn't realize it, sometimes somebody new may come in, they'll cross products or something, and they may think that it's a little bit different. But like you said, give them a little while, then they realize that it's a very small community, the same faces you see all over the place. And eventually everybody finds a place where they need to work together to become successful, because it's a matter of, we all can be successful. The implementation of the product is strictly through partners. Customers can go to Continia for training, because through the portal, as you had mentioned, they can become certified with the product, but primarily the distribution's through partners, correct?
Yeah. It's just the product is so deep and integrated, right? And it hooks into so many core processes that we strongly recommend / enforce that at least a partner is aware that the client is playing around with Continia. If we look at BC, the SaaS version of BC, we don't charge for sandbox usage, so anybody can just install it there and play around with it. And even in production databases, we have a 30-day trial. So it's really a low hurdle to kind of start playing with it. The licensing model is also very usage-based. So depending on how many documents you process in a given month, you are in a certain tier. So it's very accessible for small to large organizations. It's different for the on-prem customers, because it's not always connected to those environments, right? So we can't really measure usage. I'm happy to elaborate on that for individual cases, of course, but looking at cloud as kind of like the standard that everybody's moving to. That's the way to do it. And then we strongly recommend a partner to at least be present or aware that people are playing with it, because you don't get into the true power of the product unless you know what you're doing. And unfortunately, not everybody has the patience to go through like 4 or 5 hours of training in the testing phase, right? Like once they're decided that they want to use it, then they'll go through the training. But setting up three-way matching and stuff like that, it's extremely powerful. I would dare to say that the return on investment of our products is almost instantly. If you're doing things on paper today, if you have a lot of people doing just plain data entry and like they make errors, it takes forever. It's not super scalable. People leave the organization and all of a sudden you get late fees, right? Because nobody's entering invoices or something like that. So the ROI is there instantly, and
the license is scalable.
Yes,
and the license is scalable. So again, you had stated that the product can work with any business, anybody who's using finance, anybody who's doing orders or purchasing or expenses can utilize the application. But on the SaaS version, it's very scalable. So if you're, as your business grows, you're not having the big expense early on, but as your business grows and the more utilization you have, then it scales with you.
If we take AP automation as an example, you could just automate one vendor. Could be already worth it, right? If you have that one pesky vendor that sends you like one invoice a month of 20 pages, and each page has 20 lines, and each line could be associated with a different PO. It takes you maybe 10 minutes to set it up, and you never have to think about that again, right? It just does it automatically. That's 12 invoices a year, but it's saving you several hours, right? Because that's something that an AP clerk is otherwise spending so much time on.
And it works with the different formats of invoices from the vendors, so you don't have to. What I like with something like this, again, it saves office automation, saves. But also, if you can have different types of documents, it also assists with if you have office turnover, if there's training, if someone's out, it minimizes the amount of training that you need to do, I think, to operate in the office.
Or just loss of tribal knowledge alone. I mean, everything's going to be running through the system. Yep.
Yeah.
So a couple of weeks ago, we had a summit.
Yeah.
Right. What did you think of the summit this year?
It was good. I mean, there's a lot of what do we say? Rumor around the brand or something, right? It was an amazing event. I mean, we were super busy. It was great to see all the new friends. We had an amazing time. We were there with a team of 6. And I was like, that's plenty. And in the end, there were moments that all of us were talking to different people, and there were still people piling up. So
it's amazing.
It was that type of show. Yeah. It was that type of show for some reason. It's everybody came together. And I think it caught a lot of people by surprise. Like you just said, you said 5 people would be plenty. I think some people thought, different numbers would be plenty.
Yeah.
But I think putting everybody into that large venue in one room together, it was like, let's just, swim our way through and see everybody, which was good.
Yeah. Now, we already closed business coming out of it. So it can go that fast.
No, that's great, because that was only a few weeks ago. So that it is a very positive summer for you. You had mentioned the team's growing in North America. Is everybody based out of New York, or is it scattered throughout the time zones?
All over the place, different time zones. I mean, it's the nature of this channel a little bit also, right? And we value experience in the channel, people that know what they're talking about. I mean, we like to bring in new people, and we recently did actually people that came from the client side that know the processes very well. We can teach them how automation works, right? So that is perfect. And then all over the US there's amazing resources, and we're glad that we were able to get them to work for us.
was the group that went to Summit mostly North Americans, or did you bring some of the European partners as well?
We had our European marketing manager, or global marketing manager, I should say, come over just to kind of see the event, right? There's no such event in Europe, and it's important for us that we keep improving on our message that we're here to stay. We're a big company. Like, yes, we have European background, but we operate as a North American company here, to our partners, to our customers, and we want to show that in our marketing messaging as well, of course. So it was good to have her here to kind of get a taste of the event and see thousands of people. I mean, the Directions Conference in Europe is big, but there's no end customers. And that's unique about Summit. It's really that blend. It's a couple of thousand people that are both customers and partners.
No, that's, I think we had talked about, I think I saw one statistic, I think there were 6,000 people that attended, and of that 4,000 were customers.
Yeah.
And again, that crosses, GP, Business Central, FNSM, or whatever it is today. What is it today? It's last week was FNO.
SCM.
Today is FNSCM, or whatever it may be. And so it is it is a different space, because even Directions in North America is primarily partner ISV based.
Yep.
And then EMEA, which is in Europe, which happens to be also in a couple of weeks, is primarily, the partner and ISV channel. Are you going over to that conference, or do you staying stateside?
Interestingly, I've never been, although from Europe, I've never been to the European version of Directions since my business activities were always North America. So normally I'll take any excuse to go over there, but we've got enough international travel coming up that I'm good. And we have so many people in Europe, right? Because we have an office in the Netherlands, in Belgium, in Germany, and like all of them have their own partners, their own customers that they have to visit. So we'll have a big delegation there from our team. Some cool announcements, and with OP Plus, which was a standalone German company that we've acquired at the beginning of the year. That was a big move in the European market. We're one of the bigger players out there, I would dare to say.
So there's some cool announcements coming up at EMEA from Continia.
Yeah. I think we're in the keynote even to the extent that I sadly get involved with that. Yeah.
Is there anything you want to share with us before you go that we can say it broke here first? I always have to try to pull it out.
Yeah. So. I'm gonna say I wish I could. But I don't even know the details. It's really out of my realm.
Because you told them you were talking to us, and they know we have to ask.
Yeah. They kept me in the dark for that reason. They
didn't want it to slip.
That's good though, Kris, because I think Continia is, it's a well-known name in North America, and a lot of people, I think, really know your product, and so it is exciting that, you help continue to grow that, the North American presence, and excited to see you guys continue to grow and seeing you guys at the booth at Summit, every year, and looking forward to it, and always looking forward to see you and your team. It's you guys have great products for sure.
Thanks. It's love working with you guys. We had some new stuff going on last week even, so we keep each other busy. That's good, I guess.
Well, that's it. That's what the community is all about, is everybody working together to make everybody, become successful. Because in the end, we want Business Central to become successful.
Yeah.
Because if Business Central is successful, then we all can be successful, because the application's being used and
I think it is, right? I mean, I think Business Central is really taking off. It was an interesting moment when Microsoft stopped sharing numbers, because they're like, we don't want to make anybody wiser. It's like, we're growing so fast, we should just shut up now. And,
I think that's what it is. They shifted that model. That's exactly what I thought too. I'm like, wait a minute. They just went to totally saying, we're not telling you how many people are using it. We're not telling you anything about it. But those that in the community, that it's just starting to become like a fire hose, because there's that many people talking about it, that many people using it, and that many people needing help with it.
Yeah.
It's just something happened. It was like almost overnight that, you know, there was a transformation that everybody now knows about the product.
Yeah.
And we won't try to trigger anybody who's using GP, because that will be here for another 15 years too. So.
Yeah, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
No, I'm not.
I don't want blog posts with my name in it. That I
No, I understand. Neither do I. I mean, nobody. I mean, ultimately, nobody knows what happens with anything. It's even with Business Central. I mean, there could be something that happens tomorrow that shifts the market, and you know, nobody knows. They really don't. I mean, there's a plan.
Yeah,
there's a plan. You can think, you can forecast, you can predict, and you can play the odds. But I think every day is a new day in a sense.
Yeah.
But
well, and who knows where we would have been with a different Microsoft CEO, right? I mean, that made an impact for sure. Yeah. But it keeps us sharp. I would like to think. You gotta fight for your right, party.
Yeah.
See, he's dating himself there. You see that? You know where that came from, Kris? Do you know? Lil Kris? I'll call you Lil Kris.
No, where did it come from?
You don't know the song?
No, what song are you talking about?
Quiet Riot?
Then yeah, that's before my time. I don't know.
Beastie Boys, right?
Oh, Beastie Boys. Yeah, you fight for your party. I was thinking, see, I even messed that up. I was thinking Quiet Riot was even earlier. Yeah, Beastie Boys wasn't before your time. See? He even corrected me. Now we have to edit that out. Right, we have to start this part of the conversation over, because I screwed up. I was thinking of the Quiet Riot song for some reason, but yes, it's Beastie Boys. You have to fight.
I started it out. I was like, wait a minute.
And you even questioned yourself for a moment. It was kind of funny. I could see the look on your face when I said Quiet Riot. It was good. All right, Kris, thank you very much for your time today. I appreciate the conversation and for you talking to us a little about Continia. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I know you're busy and you have a lot going on within your calendar, and I appreciate it. And I look to follow up and catch up with you in the future to hear more things about Continia. But if you could you tell us a little more about how somebody could get in touch with you or continue to learn more about you, learn more about Continia and some of the other great things that you guys are doing?
Of course. Yeah, no, people can always contact us through the website. You can email me direct. I have a simple email address, cdv from Kris the Visser @continia.com. Or obviously contact your partner. They should know about us, and if they don't, I'm happy to tell them. LinkedIn, all that kind of fun stuff. Always happy to talk and chat with folks.
No, I would looking forward to speaking with you again. And Kris, you'll put in the show notes, Kris's information as well as their website and Kris's LinkedIn information, so that somebody can link from there, and they can look at the Continia website to learn more about the document capture, expense management, document output for North America. And if you're international, you could also take a look at the payment management, collections management, and the OP Plus.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kris.
Thank you, guys.
Good time.
Great to chat with you.
Same, you too.
Thank you, Kris, for your time for another episode of In the Dynamics Corner Chair. And thank you to our guests for participating.
Thank you, Brad, for your time. It is a wonderful episode of Dynamics Corner Chair. I would also like to thank our guests for joining us. Thank you for all of our listeners tuning in as well. You can find Brad at developerlife.com. That is DVLPRLIFE.com. And you can interact with them via Twitter, DVLPRLIFE. You can also find me at matalino.io, MATALINO.io. And my Twitter handle is Matalino16. And you can see those links down below in the show notes. Again, thank you, everyone. Thank you, and take care.